Alright guys, welcome to episode 10 of the Hilux Drag Build. This episode has taken some time to get to where we are now because there's been lots of parts coming from the post. But you might be wondering why there's two Hiluxes here, and the reason is I've actually gone ahead and bought this car. I ended up getting it quite cheap from one of my friends purely because it has a tub on it. So we're going to be sending this car off to one of our friends and he's going to be fiberglassing the tub to get a copy. So we're going to be having a fiberglass tub going onto this car, and in this episode we're going to be stripping this whole car down. We're going to be pulling the front end off, the doors, the interior, the tray. And while this is all happening, I'm going to show you guys exactly what is happening with the car, the parts we've bought, and where it's going to be going from here. So stick around and let's get into the workshop. Alright guys, before we take the Hilux in, we're going to be taking the Hilux to the weighbridge to see what the tear weight of the Hilux is right now with all the metal fenders, doors, and then we're going to get into the workshop and start the strip down. So when we fit all the carbon bits, the new tub, fiberglass tub, we know where we're sitting after that to see if we've actually lost or gained any weight, which obviously I'd be very surprised if we gained weight, but we want to see the difference between the before and after. So let's take it to the tip now and get her over the weighbridge. Okay, so at the moment I've made sure the car is completely on empty, so we know exactly what the car is sitting at. We don't have to calculate any fuel. It's probably almost ready to stall, but yeah, so the car's out empty. We're going to get out the car and they're going to weigh it, and then they'll give us a printout of what the car is sitting at as we speak. So curb weight, I believe it is. Pretty light, eh? Alright, we got the final printout. She came in at 1.52, so pretty much 1.5 ton, which is really good actually. I thought she was actually 1.6. So we've got a printout here which will show you guys a close-up of the printout, and then we'll get her into the workshop and start stripping her down and getting her ready. We just took out all the bolts. The tray is ready to come off. We need to get some help for that. This car is never going to be towing again, so I'm just, before we carry on, I'm just removing the tow harness, the trailer harness I mean, so that just has an aftermarket wire that runs from the back to the front. Just cutting all the cable ties because saving weight as much as we can. Okay, alongside all the carbon that we're going to be installing onto the car and the rear end, we're also going to be doing the interior of the Hilux as well. So Fat Customs has hooked us up with a nice carbon steering wheel which will match nicely with all the carbon on the outside. This is actually an 80, so we'll match the Hilux, and we'll also be colour coding the whole interior, so we'll be painting the whole thing black. Roof liners, floors, seats, the whole lot. He also hooked us up with a nice new head unit. Although it's a drag car, we want it to look sick inside, so we got a nice head unit as well to go in there, with also the updated plastics that go around, which we'll get to that later in the episode, or later in a few episodes, but I thought I'd show you guys this now. As well as doing obviously the interiors, Johnny's going to be ripping out the interior. to help me along so I don't have to do as much work. Status update. Tray's gone, door's gone, fender's gone, bonnet's gone, interior's gone. Johnny's nearly gone. Right, the big L is completely stripped now, as much as we can get off the cab. We've stripped out the whole interior. Everything that's white is going to be going black. And the tilt tray is going to be here in the next couple hours, so I got to do the last final touches in the engine bay, make sure it's still running so the painter can drive around. But we'll wait till the towee gets here and we'll load her up. Okay guys, after many months waiting for the carbon fibre to arrive and Adam persistently going at the shipping company, we finally got all the carbon here. So the Hilux is getting pretty much full carbon kit from Thailand. We got the bonnet, the doors, both doors, and the front fenders as well. These things are so light. They're like a feather. Can't wait to get them onto the Hilux. But alongside all this carbon, we've actually got the tub sent off to our friend Chris, who's actually doing a fiberglass carbon fibre tub for it, which is going to be so awesome, and I can't wait. We'll probably have the first carbon fibre tub in Australia, which is so cool. But alongside all the carbon we've got the Gazzard Brothers rear end going in on Monday, so let's go out there and have a look at it. So we got the Gazzard rear end here, which is pretty much like a parabolic with tramp rods. So these are your tramp rods that go under your leaves. I don't know much about drags. This is all a learning curve for me as well, but I'm trying to get as much information of it as I can, and I heard that this kit is pretty much a little bit of welding and most of it's a bolt-in kit. Comes with the shocks. Apparently these are really good shocks that are re-gassed to suit the kit. But then again, I have no idea. That's just what I've been told by Adam. He's helped me out heaps with this whole Hilux build. And he's actually going to be installing the Gazzard rear end because he's done it before and I'm not very good at welding. So the Hilux is going to be going to Adam from Powerline Performance on Monday, and he's going to be doing the whole rear end, which that's going to be in another episode. But I just wanted to show you guys what we've been waiting on for the last couple of months, the carbon and the Gazzard rear end. Alright, we finally got the Hilux back to the workshop last night at about 6 o'clock. I gotta say, she's definitely come a long way from picking up her when she was an old tradie with the tradie racks, the bull bar, white especially. Now she's gone black, so she's gonna look awesome when we put all the carbon bits on it. But for now, I gotta pull the turbo off. We're gonna be replacing that turbo. I'm also getting that manifold ceramic coated because I never ceramic coated it in the first place, and it's starting to rust a little bit. So we're gonna get that ceramic coated. Alongside the outside, we're gonna be making the interior look awesome. So that's why we paired up with Fat Customs on the interior. So we get the N80 steering wheel, which is all carbon, and the head unit as well as bucket seats, which are in between a real bucket and a comfy seat. So I think they will go really nicely into the Hilux. With all that happening, we're going to be painting all the interior, so the door cards, the dash, and the headliners and whatnot. We're going to go do that now, and start getting the interior smick. So we got the Hilux into the workshop. I'm at the moment redoing all the wiring harness because obviously we deleted heaps of throttle. We deleted all the throttle bodies, the sensors. So I'm cutting the wires, getting rid of them all, and then rewrapping the harness. So she looks smick. And then the next thing I got to do is pull that turbo off and start looking to wire the fuse box into the car. So the whole engine bay is going to be clean as, but it's definitely going to take a while. So let's get into ripping that turbo off. So we're pulling the turbo off because we're going to be putting a few reasons. We're going to be putting a bigger turbo on. We're going to be neatening up the back of the engine, the firewall, because there's still some spots that are white. And then we're going to be ceramic coating the exhaust manifold as well to make it a bit nicer. I've gone ahead and actually deleted the aircon unit, so that's all deleted. Also, if you look down here, I've changed the serpentine belt as well, so that's got a aircon delete serpentine belt on it, which I just got that from Repco. I'm going to be deleting the hub, the fan hub, putting thermos on it as well, so there's less drag on the motor, as well as the AC compressor as well, so less drag there, because we want to minimize as much drag on the engine as possible because we want to go as fast as possible down the strip. This is going to make everything a lot nicer, and especially when we go for the compound setup in the future, we have a lot more room in the engine bay to run twin turbos and whatnot. Alright, it's an hour later, no, it's like a few hours later, and I've made no progress on the wiring because it takes so long. Anyways, I'm going to give it up for now, and I'm going to paint the interior. I've already painted the dash and one door card. I'm going to paint all the rest, the hood liners, the trimmings, and we'll get it back in the car. I'm going to do all the wiring harness probably off camera because it takes so long of just fiddling with plugs. But I'll do that off camera and I'll show you guys when it's done. I think we've got enough footage of me doing wiring, so we'll do that later. But let's get on to painting the interior. Okay, for the trim, I have painted the stuff with Jupiter. I've used this quite a lot before, and even on our other video on the GTJ build to colour coat all the trim. But with this stuff, you got to do a light coat, and then another light coat, and then another light coat until the whole thing's covered. You don't just paint it on. You got to make sure you do it in, like, probably do about 5 coats, and then she gets really hard and strong, and then it can't be scratched. Ta-da! Alright, we finally got the Hilux to a point where she runs, drives. She's not finished. We still need to do a lot more, put on the panels, thermo fans, good turbo, and this one's just a demo turbo so we can get it running, driving. But what we've done, I'm just going to run over a few of the things that we've done to the Hilux, starting with the wiring, because now she doesn't have a battery, a fuse box in the engine bay anymore. We've deleted all this wiring that used to run across here and go down to the driver side light, the passenger side light, and then we had a fuse box that sat here as well, so that's all been deleted. What I ended up having to do is deepinning the fuse box, running it through this hole right here, through the dash, running it across the dash, through under the passenger side dash, so that's all done. And then I had to still supply power to the lights in the airbags. So we've run wire, so I've extended all the wires from both sides, running wire from inside of the guard so you can't see any wires. So that's all done. And then the last thing that we've done as well for the wiring, I've stripped back the whole wiring harness for the engine, cut all the plugs that we don't use anymore, like the EGR, the valves, throttle bodies, so all that's been deleted, and I've heat shrink them and put them inside the harness now. So I've rewrapped all that, that's all nice now. So that's the only wires you'll see in the engine is the injectors and to supply the fuel pump as well. That's all sweet. Lastly, for the electrical side, we've moved the battery that used to be here all the way to the back, which I'll show you. So we've run the battery in the rear, so I put a battery mount here. I still need to neaten this all up because I just quickly needed to get it running for next episode, but it's all running, sweet. It's on there, but that'll be fixed up later, so that is sweet. As well as all the wiring, we've done little things like relocate the steering fluid reservoir, which is right here now. And we've gotten rid of the ABS module, and I had to order this quad T-piece from Japan so we can fully get rid of the ABS system. So I've cut all the brakes and put them all into that T-piece and neaten it all up, so that's all done as well. But that's the end of this episode. I don't know what I'm saying next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you next episode.